in her book, No Matter What, we have already discussed the first few muscles. When you're talking about, bringing yourself, to your best self. And so she talked about the nine muscles. And we've already discussed your understanding muscle. We've already discussed your faith in yourself or faith in myself muscle. And today we're going to talk about the take action muscle. Sometimes, we can understand that things are the way that they are, and we can have faith, with everything that we want to do and what we want to bring to the world. But I promise you, faith without works is dead. So today we're going to talk about the take action muscle. And so things don't always go the way we want to, right? They just don't. Jobs come and go, relationships can disappoint us, children sometimes have problems and go all the way to the left. And really, stuff just happens, right? So having these strong bounce back muscles allow you to easily get through them. So today we're definitely talking about the take action muscle, but there's more. There's nine of them. There's the I know like I know muscle, the honesty muscle, the say yes muscle, the determination muscle, the forgiveness muscle, the highest choice muscle. I love that Lisa Nichols put this together this way so that um, we can absolutely find the things that are going to help us to get where we need to get to. So I am so excited to talk about this today. So having these strong bounce back muscles, they just allow you to get through things as you experience different crises that come up in your life. Developing these muscles has everything to do with where you're going and where you're coming from, right? So being able to bounce back consistently is the foundation of bouncing forward in life successfully every single time something comes up. So it's so important to do that. Winston Churchill said, if you're going through hell, keep going. And I always like to say, if you're going through hell, run. Run. Just keep going. Just run through it. Just get through it as quickly as possible. And Lisa definitely calls this muscle the take action muscle because it really does allow you to keep going, to continue forward, to face these obstacles. And if this muscle, this take action muscle is not strong, you can easily stay stuck in failure. If your plan A didn't work, or missing other opportunities, it just keeps you stuck and you don't grow. And so we want to talk about how we can strengthen this take action muscle. You can, learn how to, chart a course for your future, by being flexible and keeping your eye on the higher goal. When your take action muscle is weak, it can leave you paralyzed. It can leave you staring brokenhearted at a door that has slammed in your face. Sometimes these doors close and we're like, oh my God, why did the door close? I want the door open. But they say when one door closes, another one opens. And we know that to be so, so true. Lisa had the dream of, she was in college and she wanted to graduate college and all that. And she went to school on a full ride scholarship because she could run fast. She was a track star. And the demands of the program was very difficult. And what she ended up finding out was that if she didn't run the way the school wanted her to, because she refused. She's like, okay, I got shin splints. Everything hurts. I just can't do it. The school said, well, if you don't run, we're going to revoke your scholarship. And that was her plan A. And guess what happened? She refused. And because she refused, they revoked her scholarship and she had to leave college. So sad. She's like, oh my God, what am I doing? Why is this happening? How could I be in this place where one minute I'm hailed and adorned, and then on the next minute I'm abandoned, betrayed by all of the same people? Has that happened to you before? One minute somebody loves you so much and singing your praises, and then the next minute you feel abandoned and betrayed by that same person. So have you noticed that sometimes the wind shifts directions without you even being aware of it? One minute you know exactly what's happening, and the next minute you're lost, surprised, and confused by what's going on. You may even feel as though other influences around you have more control over your life than you do. Is that you? It truly has been me before. Like, what just happened? How in the world did this working one minute and now it's not? And so she ended up having to come home from school, not knowing what was going to happen. And it was during a time when there wasn't even cell phones. So she got home before her father, and he was on a road trip, and she couldn't even call him. It took him 3 days to get home to know that that she was no longer in school. But it's okay because her story turns out good in the end, right? She has become this amazing life changer for so many of us, you know. And so I'm always inspired by someone who has come from, things that they thought they couldn't survive from. And here she is now, this amazing lady that we get to follow all over the place. I love, love, love her story. So sometimes things can go from bad to worse before they get better, right? Can you think of a time in your life when you thought something should have happened, but it didn't? How'd you feel? What'd you do? For most of us, the reaction is usually colored with circumstances of our particular disaster. If our plan A failed because we screwed up in some sort of way, we may just focus on beating ourselves up, imagining how we could have done things differently. And if we were let down by somebody else, we probably will be absorbed in blaming that person and feeling outraged that his or her mistake or betrayal could just ruin our whole life. If plan A fails through no one's fault, we might just get stuck in the details of the situation, trying to understand what happened and telling and retelling the story to anybody who will listen, but especially to ourselves. Have you ever had a time when something happened and you called your best girlfriend and you told them the story? And then after you told them the story, you told somebody else the story, and then you told somebody else the story, and then you keep telling the story. I remember one time I feel like something had happened in my marriage, and I was telling one of my girlfriends, and then it hit me that I had been telling that story for weeks. I kept telling the story and kept telling the story, and then I heard myself. You ever just hear yourself? Just keep saying the same thing over and over, and he this and he that, and he didn't do this and he didn't do that, and that happened and that happened, and I must have told the story 20 times. I'm like, oh my goodness, how in the world did I tell this story so many times, over and over and over and over again, telling the same story? If anybody will listen. And you ever notice that somebody um that somebody would tell a story, or even if you're telling a story and you find that the person starts saying stuff like, yeah, I know you told me. Yeah, I know you told me. You know why they saying that? Because they tired of you telling it. I know you told me. Whenever somebody say, yeah, I remember you told me, I'm like, oh man, I already told them this story. I already said it. But we say it over and over. And the sad thing is, not only does none of this move us forward, it actually takes us further away from where you're headed to in the first place. It's like falling in the hole, right? And then digging yourself in deeper in the hole instead of trying to get out. And when we sink deeper and deeper in the hole, we sink deeper and deeper in this pit of blaming, complaining, feeling ashamed until we can't even see our path anymore. If that's you, cut it out. So one of the keys to building a strong take action muscle is to step back from the specifics of the situation and remember ultimately where you are headed. Staying focused on the larger outcome that you desire, right? Will keep you moving in the right direction. No matter how many detours you may have to follow to get there. To take action again, you may need to modify your plan, take a new direction, even change partners sometimes. All of that is fine to do. And the sooner you rededicate yourself to the original greater goal, the less time you will need to spend recovering from the disappointments or what happened. If you spend less time in what happened and more time in how do I get back to the larger goal? So let's say the larger goal is to open a business, get a better job, and everything that you were working on for some reason didn't work out. It's not working out. The person who told you that they were going to help you to get your LLC, or the price that they told you was different, and you just knew that you would have your LLC in 30 days, and now we're at day 45 and you don't know, what this person is doing. Sometimes you just got to find a new way to do the same thing. That's your take action muscle. Okay, this is not working over here with him or her or this company. And it's funny, we just were having a conversation yesterday about website development. And the first company that we hired, they were like, oh, well, you never gave us this and you never gave us that. And it was just a bunch of excuses. Good morning. It was a bunch of excuses. So many excuses. Like, hold on. Is this a business? I don't know if this is a business or not. If you're giving me excuses and not the work. And then turn around and hire a whole new company. They got a whole new team. And before you finish the form, they already on the phone. So sometimes you got to chalk certain things up as a loss. The deposit that you put down, the person that you started with, and you just got to regroup and start all over. There was a time when I thought that I could be in business with two of my friends, and it was going good at first, and then it just didn't. So I had to regroup. It didn't stop me from doing this work. I thought that I was going to do it with them, but I'm still doing it. So it just kind of changed a little bit. So this principle is so good for breakdowns, whether they are large or small. So the next time you feel that things aren't going the way you want them, whether it's a social event, whether it's a vacation that's ruined by weather. Remember when we were talking about, we were going on a cruise in September and everybody kept telling us that it was going to be a hurricane. And we kept saying, it's going to be a hurricane. And people started dropping out and not wanting to come because the hurricane was coming. They kept saying the hurricane was coming. And guess what? Yeah. Those of us who went, was it a hurricane? Nope.
It was a hurricane, but I mean a hurricane in the best way.
Yes, it was not. There was not. I mean, it was bright. It was sunny. If it was a hurricane, it was nowhere near the ship we was on. I cannot wait to get back on the ship. But whatever it is, stop for a moment and remember your original intention. What was your intention? What was the bigger plan? And the real purpose of the event maybe was to have fun with friends or family. And just because that event didn't work out doesn't mean that you can't swerve and do something else. Okay, maybe the place closed down and now so many people in this moment is having such a tough time because they can't be with their family. But I am so grateful for Zoom, so grateful for social media, so grateful for FaceTime. FaceTime has now added FaceTime chat. FaceTime chat is where anybody who has an iPhone, you got to have an iPhone though. You can start a FaceTime call with multiple people at one time. I learned it because my kids did it to me. My kids all called me on FaceTime, and it was all of them, all on the call, plus two of my grandkids, all on the call at one time. And we had this great conversation. We talked about the good grades that the girls are getting. We talked about all this great stuff. So if your intention is to be with your family or find ways to interact with your family, it's okay to use these platforms. Zoom went from 400,000 users. Kemp, we've been here long before. We was the originals, right? And
Yes, we
all of a
were.
sudden now they got 4 million. 4 million. That's what we should have had the stock at in Zoom, right? So you just have to remember your original intent, your bigger plan, and just find your way around it. If the vacation that you wanted to take was just for you to relax, you know, you can create the same kind of ambiance in your house. Close the door, turn the phone off. Get you some aromatherapy popping, burn some candles, get you some good food. You might can't have lobster at the char house, but you could surely have lobster at your house. They still selling it, right? You can still go to the store and get you some lobster, some crab legs, and create this meal that you want to have. This amazing dinner for two. Listen, put your small table in the middle of your living room, put your candles on it, get you some fresh flowers, and go to town. The whole idea is to spend some time with the person that you love, even if it's just yourself. Sometimes in moments like this, extreme self-care is important. That means pull out your foot spa and soak your own feet. Can't go to the nailery. Polish your own fingernails. Ain't that what we used to do? Once a week or every 2 weeks, we used to just pull out the nail polish and just do it yourself. What is the initial purpose? Maybe the business deal didn't go the way that you thought it was supposed to go. It was some breakdown between partners who was supposed to do what. But the whole idea was to bring you closer to financial freedom. So if that means that now you have to figure out what's next, then that's okay to do that. But be okay with taking action to move on to the next thing. In the midst of breakdown, if you can remember the bigger goal and find a way to fulfill it anyway, is the key to building your take action muscle. Having this level of flexibility is not always easy, but with practice, I promise you, it's going to be possible. Sometimes people are like, no, it's plan A or nothing. Sometimes you got to make a whole nother schedule. Sometimes, um, we feel like bits of us have disappeared the longer you stay in the same place because you playing way too small. Sometimes we spend so many years playing small, compromising your joy, and not really utilizing your true gifts. We can become so comfortable in discomfort that we begin to accept it as our life's destiny. What's going on over here? Hold on. Connecting. We're disconnected on Zoom. One moment, please. What is happening? Let me take that off of here and do that and see if that helps.
Hello?
All right, there we go. I don't know what happened.
Yay.
Hold on. There we go. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Yes.
now? Can you hear me
Tell
now?
them folks stop calling you.
Listen, I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why people don't remember 9 to 10. I don't know. But the next, in the book, she always talks about the questions of I'm not alone. So one of the I'm not alone questions is, have you ever felt as though bits of you disappeared the longer you stayed in the same place? Many of us spend years playing small, compromising our joy, and not utilizing our true gifts. We can even become so in
Oh
our
my God.
discomfort, comfortable in your discomfort, that we begin to accept it as our life's destiny. I remember one of my friends saying, "Girl, I think that's just your lot in life." I said, "Now that's a lie. My lot in life. Who picks my lot in life? Who tells me who determines what your lot in life is?" She said, "I think your lot in life is to never have money." Why would you say that?
What?
Why would you say that?
Wow. Get away from me.
Listen, she also said to me, "If I was as broke as you, I would jump off a building." I said, "I don't know who you calling broke, because I'm not broke. I'm far from broke. I'm rich in so many ways. I'm just waiting for my money to catch up." Girl, bye. Sometimes, when you have entrepreneur friends, don't talk to them like that. Don't say those kind of things. That's not nice. You know.
Just cut like that.
Listen. Can I tell you how fast the cutoff happened? It's like,
Wow.
next time I talked to her, she was like, "Girl, I haven't talked to you in years." You think? Listen, that is that you are no longer allowed in my space messing with my peace about what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. Anyway, sometimes, people, have a tendency to stay in situations that are uncomfortable. Sometimes we hang on to these relationships and jobs and other circumstances that really they don't serve us anymore, but we stay there just to get by, just to pay the bills, just to keep the peace, or just to avoid failure in whatever it is you think you might fail in. But then if we lose our job or our partner breaks up with us, though we know the situation wasn't right for us in the first place, we still feel rejected. I remember that. I remember that. Like my job, they was harassing me so bad. They was harassing me. My one supervisor was just so pitiful in her life that she just picked me. And it's funny because the people who had been working there for years was like, "Oh God, you got the bullseye. She after you." And I'm like, "Why? What did I do? Why is she after me?" And they said, "Because I was happy. I smiled a lot. I was always telling great stories. I was thin. I wore high heels, and I was pretty." This is exactly what my coworkers told me was the reason why my supervisor was coming after me. Now, mind you, by the time I got to this good job, I had been doing it over 10 years. So it wasn't like I'm some newbie and whatever, but listen, I'm human. And I promise you that she would go through my work and nitpick every little thing. Every little thing. "Oh, well, you said you were going to call the client back on Wednesday, but you didn't call him back till Thursday." And she made that up as some kind of not following my notes or something, and wrote me out for it. Like, not like, it was so terrible. Like, I had to have the union because this was a union job at Temple University here in Philadelphia. I had to have the union rep come to the job every week because she wrote me up every week to dispute what she was doing. I'm like, what is the problem? And then I remember having a conversation with her, and she was saying that she was stuck at this job because it was a good job. You know, they pay for your kids to go to school. They got great benefits and all that. You know, so yeah, so she was like, I'm stuck here. I said, oh no. I said, who told you that? I said, you're not stuck anywhere. Now here I am giving this amazing advice, talking to her, and the whole time she got the knife stabbing me in the back, right? This is crazy. And so when I finally was fired, because I just couldn't stop her from writing me up, when I finally was fired, I was upset. For about 5 minutes, I was really upset. Not long. I was like, okay. So because my bounce back muscles is real. Like I bounce back. Like, okay. So you don't have this good job that you used to have. So what's the next step? What do I do next? Okay, well, you always wanted to be an entrepreneur, so let's see what that look like. What can I do? Like, and so you really have to be like, okay, not really staying in there, like acknowledging that something did not go according to plan. Because I really thought that I was going to be there long enough for my daughter to go to college and all that kind of stuff too, because Temple paid for your child to go to college as long as you're an employee. And so this was supposed to be a long-term plan. This was a plan. It shucks. My daughter ended up saying, college ain't even for me. That happened to another lady that I know that worked there. She stayed there for over, I don't even know, 10 years, 15 years. And then when it was time for her daughter to go to college, she said, I don't want to go to college. So that ought to tell you, don't make plans for other people because they got their own plans, their own thoughts or whatever. So, this rejection that we feel, don't stay in there. Don't dig in there deeper. Don't stay in there deeper. So sometimes the experience of being pushed out before we're ready to go is the part that makes us, feel so pained, and it can be painful. But our needs, what happens is our needs to be accepted and approved of supersedes our desire to be happy. Like, it's okay, I'm gonna just stay here because this is a good job. Oh, that's okay, I'm gonna stay in this relationship because everybody expects me to, because I need to be accepted and approved. But when you are clear that being happy, whole, and complete is really your first and foremost goal, then you can see an involuntary parting of the ways as not rejection, but as a release. We release you. You're released. I was released from being abused and taken advantage of. I was a great employee. She couldn't write me up for how you say it, absenteeism. She couldn't write me up for that. She couldn't write me up for being late. But you can write me up because I didn't cross a T or dot a I, because I didn't call somebody on Wednesday, didn't call them till a day later, or I didn't. I mean, the stuff that she came up with, I'm like, how did she even think of that? Or we'll get a workaround and she'll say, oh, you didn't do the workaround right. Well, the whole department did it this way because we talked about it. Oh, well, you didn't do it right, so I'm writing you up. So these things happen. And it's so funny because that lady was still at that job for a long time. And from that point, I got a chance to move to Atlanta and do all these things because I was released. So I got a chance to live. And so I would come back. I still do it sometimes, y'all, because I still got friends that work there. So I would go back to that job at lunchtime because for some reason they have these universal lunchtimes. So that supervisor, her boss, and the other boss, right, was there. And I would call my friends up saying, what y'all doing for lunch? I would come there and bring balloons or, flowers, something to show me walking through there with my high heels and my hair cascading down my back, right? And just walk through, walk through. And I would see them, and for months I was, would go like every so often and go and have lunch with my friends, and they would be there, and I would say, "Hey, how you doing? How's everything going?" Right? And then one day I was sitting in the lunchroom, and those three bosses were sitting over there, because all three of them had to fire me at the end. When the supervisor fired me, they had to call her manager and the other manager, right? And so I see all three of them sitting at the table. And one of the days I had just came back from Atlanta or something, and I just went up to the table. I said, "You know what? How y'all doing today? Y'all doing good?" I said, "Let me tell you something. I just wanted to take a moment to really just to thank you for letting me go. Oh my goodness, my life has turned out so amazing. I have been able to do some of the most amazing things, but I never would have been able to do it if I was still here. So thank you, thank you, thank you for releasing me." Oh my God, they looked at me like I was crazy. And then after I said it, I flipped my hair and start sashaying back over to my friends. They was like, "What did you say?" I said, "I thanked them for firing me." They was like, "You know what?" That was one of that was a true highlight in my life, to be able to thank somebody that fired me, because they literally released me to do this work that I now do. Can you imagine if I had stayed at that job, worked there for 10 years? I could very well still be sitting there in that cubicle right now, or working from home like my friends are, had they not released me. I'm so grateful for being released. And y'all should be too, because I get to do this work. So don't be in it. So sometimes when people push you out, you think that, "Oh my goodness, it's going to be terrible," or "It is terrible," and it really is not. It is definitely one door closing so that the next one can open, moving you closer to what's really right for you. Developing your understanding muscle and your faith in yourself, muscle will help you to see that, because it appears that is one rejection after another. But what you want to recognize is that whatever it is that you were holding on to wouldn't have lasted anyway. When you're in a situation, right, that isn't a fit for you, things ain't going to line up for you to stay in that space. So whether somebody is releasing you from a job or someone leaving you in a relationship, instead of cursing the change, bless it. Be thankful for it. Be in gratitude for it. Because you say, "Oh God, I know that something else must be coming." Because it's creating a space for you to do whatever you are really supposed to be doing, for whatever God in the universe has for you.
Hold
So
it. Hold it.
hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it.
I just need you to
Pause.
say that one. What did you just say? What did you just say? Because it sounded like a thing of just count it all joy.
Count it
Like,
all
they
joy.
know.
I remember when I first got released, I had been working my whole life, and when I didn't have no place to go the next day, it was weird. I was like, I don't got no job. What I'm gonna do? So for a moment, the confusion is there. You're not sure, because it's kind of like in the shock. But then I start thinking about no more anxiety. I ain't gotta look at this lady no more. Like, thank you, God. Thank you for getting me out of there. Listen, in Philadelphia, we got the best free clinics ever. We got some good health care up here if you need it. It's when you start going south that the benefits ain't the same. Ask me how I know. So everything you need will be provided for you. There's not anything. When it's like, "Oh my God, I don't have no benefits. Oh my God, this." They have this thing I found out called the Hills-Burton Act. Hills-Burton is inpatient and outpatient. My son got sick. I was able to use this Hills-Burton grant to take care of my son's hospital visit and all that kind of stuff. So just know there's always ways to take care of things. There's so many things. You just have to ask. I just went into they have you come down to the financial room, the business office of the hospital, and they talk to you about, your benefits or lack thereof. And they'll tell you, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. One of the times when my son was in the hospital, they said, we're going to apply for Medicaid for you. We just need you to sign the application. They're going to pay for it because you don't have what you need. So I filled out the application sitting right there, signed it, and then they did the rest. And I didn't leave that hospital with a big hospital bill. My son had asthma really bad, so we were in there so often. And so they just got to know us, and sometimes we had coverage, sometimes we didn't. And guess what? It's okay. God has made a way for all of those situations. None of those bills and things have followed me. So just know that there's always a way. God is just creating a space for where it is that you're supposed to be and what it is that you're supposed to be doing. So just embrace it and count it all joy, right? We've all experienced at one time or another how frustrating life can be, right? Sometimes it feels as though nothing is going the way we want it, as though we're heading in the wrong direction faster and faster and can't slow down. What's worse is this can leave us with a negative attitude that draws more of exactly what we don't want in our lives. Has that been you? Has that happened to you? It's definitely happened to me. So that's one of those I'm not alone situations. Now, there's a story that Les Brown told, and we talked about it before, and it was one of the catalysts for change for Lisa Nichols when she heard it. She had, got kicked out of school. She's laying around. She doesn't know what to do. She was working a job, and she was working as an accountant at a collection agency. And everybody who she called, and they said, we ain't got the money. She said, that's okay. I'm going to write it off. That's okay. I'm going to write it off. I'm going to take your name off the list. Right. And so her boss called her in and said, listen, Lisa, tell me what it is that you really want to do. And she said, I want to be strong at this company. I want to make this company a lot of money, because she thought that's what she wanted to hear. She was like, sweetie, no, that's not, no. She said, it seems like you want everybody to not pay their bills. They have to pay their bills. And she said, well, I really had some bills to pay, so how can I ask other people to pay? So I just did all this stuff. Well, of course, that's not good for the company. So guess who got released? Lisa Nichols got released from her job. So she was just like, oh my God, I don't have no job. What do I do? And so she just stayed in that until one of these days, laying in the bed, guess who came on her TV screen? Les Brown. It was the first time hearing him, as this motivational speaker. She had never heard of him before, but she decided to listen to him because he was so upbeat and he had such a great, presence. So she listened, and she told the story of the man who walked past the house with the husband and the wife sitting on the porch with their dog that was moaning and groaning. Remember that story? And so the man walked past the house the second day, and he saw that the man and women, the older woman and man, sitting on the thing, and they're in their rocking chairs, and the dog is sitting there just and he said, you know what? If I go past this house again and this dog is still doing this, I'm going to ask these people, why is this dog still moaning and groaning? And so after walking past on the third day, it was the same thing. The little old lady rocking, the little old man reading, and the dog in his spot moaning piteously. He couldn't stand it. He said, excuse me, ma'am. He called out to the old woman, "What's wrong with your dog?" "Oh, him," she said. "He's lying on a nail." Confused by her reply, the man asked, "If he's lying on a nail and it hurts, why doesn't he just get up?" The little old lady smiled and said in a sweet, grandmotherly tone, "Well, honey, it hurts just enough for him to moan about it, but not enough for him to move yet." Mm. Startled by that answer, Les Brown has now put something in a big light. And that is how many people are moaning and groaning about something that hurt a little bit. And every day you wake up complaining and whining and crying and talking to anybody who will listen to you about whatever it is that you moaning and groaning about. But it hurts just enough to moan about it, but not enough to move. Are you tired of moaning and groaning about something? Are you ready to move? Are you the dog lying on a nail? Is that you? Are you lying? Do you recognize yourself in this couple's dog? I sure have in the past. Are you complaining about a situation in your life but not taking action to improve it? Sometimes we fool ourselves by thinking that going over and over our problems in our heads or discussing it repeatedly with other people is taking action. The truth is, these activities only eat up a lot of time. They rarely bring us to real resolution. Plus, they drain and deplete us and drain and deplete the people that got to listen to you. But it's exactly at this point where many people stay stuck. The ego, the she-go gets invested in the drama. We justify our own positions and start actively seeking out people who will support us in our drama. We want to enroll other choir members to sing our song, Poor Me song, with us. Poor me, poor me, poor me. Woe is me. This happened to me. And I'm so sad that this happened to me. So now I want you to be sad with me because it happened to me. And I'm just singing a song and being sad and moaning and groaning and lying on this nail and not doing a dang on thing about it. And when we looking for people to sing the sad song with us, we can find those people, can't we? Our fellow singers, they usually lying on a nail of their own, moaning and groaning about their plights as well. This is where that old adage, misery loves company, comes from. But this kind of support just makes it harder for you to get up off the nail. So after a while, we just become accustomed to feeling unhappy about a problem that we accept our unhappiness as what? Normal. As crazy as it sounds, being uncomfortable becomes our comfort zone. Being unhappy becomes your comfort zone. And however uncomfortable it may be, we can't break free from the comfort zone until we take some crucial steps. Recognizing one, that we are stuck. Realizing that you are lying on the nail. So to build your take action muscle, you have to use your pain, use your discomfort as a signal to review your current course. Why are you moaning but not moving? When you hear yourself complaining, take a moment to become conscious and aware of what's happening inside of you. Ask yourself, what do I want? What would make me happy? What baby step can I take today to move me in a different direction? What am I afraid? will happen if I take that step? When you ask yourself these questions, it makes you more self aware, and self awareness is powerful. It's an antidote for destructive habits, and it'll help you to develop the first step in building all your bounce back muscles. Knowing more is the basis of doing more. So, becoming aware of your situation, once you're aware, it's up to you to take the action. The same energy that you channel into complaining and moaning can be redirected to fuel our transition from stuck to stepping forward. Les Brown is one of those people I absolutely love. And one of the things that he said is, you are the master designer of your life. It is your job to design the life you want. Yes, you can design your own life. You can decide what you want to do, where you want to live, where you want to go, who you want to experience life with. Isn't that exciting? This is a new, fresh approach to whatever it is that you're working on. And for Lisa, it was a new, fresh approach to job hunting. And so she's made a list of what she wanted from her next job. I want to talk to people and help them. I want to travel. I want to carry a laptop, and I want to wear a black suit. And so when she was interviewing for the job, she was actually interviewing the job. Change the whole thing around. You too can change your whole thing around by taking action. We are living in a pandemic. We are living in a time never seen before. What kind of action can you take in this moment that when we come out on the other side, you are better for what's happening? I'm taking classes that I never had time to take. By the time we leave out of this pandemic, I will be a master herbalist. I'm in the process now. I'm studying plant botany to understand how herbs are made and what herbs do what. You know, I know what a lot of them do, but now I'm learning, well, is it the leaf, or is it the roots, or is it the stalks? What part of the plant does what? Oh, it's so good. But that just makes me better at the work that I do in taking care of people and getting people better holistically. So what is it that you can do? I'm even taking a jewelry making class because I like to be creative. So what can you do? All this stuff is online. The tools that you need can be shipped to you or purchased from Amazon. What can you do different so that when you come out better? You know, this commitment to moving, you know, having a strong take action muscle will change your life no matter what. When roadblocks come up before, you know, in your way and knocks you off your path, you just get up, dust yourself off, look around, be ready to discover what your next step is going to be. Find a new path if necessary. This road is blocked. Go this way. It's okay to take a detour that's going to get you to the final goal, right? This doesn't mean you got to move quick. It just means that you need to make a priority of moving. Doesn't have to be fast. Just have to be committed to the movement. Sometimes when you are discovering your take action muscle, it could just be a crawl or just one step. But you just have to stay in motion. There may be on the situations in your life that come up from the outside. It could appear that you're not moving, but inside, you know you're in motion. You know you making plans. You gearing up for this leg of the journey that lies ahead of you. But you inside work. You're doing your inside work. What Crystal call it, the soul work. We're doing the inside work. Once you do the inside work, it gives you the power to change everything that's on the outside of you. Whether that's I'm moving to California, I'm divorcing, or I'm changing, or I'm getting out of my children's lives because they're grown. Whatever they may be, the commitment, this commitment to moving works best when your understanding muscle is also strong. You know, the understanding muscle allows you to see the gift in every situation, because some gifts come wrapped in sandpaper. It's a little bit rough on the outside, but the gift is definitely in there. So your take action muscle takes it a step further, enabling you to act on your understanding. If you're recovering from a broken relationship, a career setback, a health challenge, the loss of a loved one, or some other personal breakdown, finding the gift in the lesson will allow you to see beyond the chaos of the present. But by taking action is how you experience the bliss and the breakthrough that awaits you. You know, I tell the story often of when I lost my father, and my mom, as my father was laying in the house, she said that she said, one, we're gonna be okay. That's the first thing she said. The second thing she said was, if he had a choice, he wouldn't have left us. I believe that. And finally, she said, we just have to find a new normal. And in 7 years, we found a new normal. You know, there was so many gifts wrapped in my father's life that I was able to find. And the first thing was I had him for a good amount of my life. And I knew what he would say about things. I knew what he would, what he would think about situations. I knew what he would think about my mom getting sick. I knew what he would say about my brother dying. I knew all of that. I knew exactly what he would say. I knew exactly what he would think. So there was so many blessings in that gift that was wrapped in sandpaper, right? And in the loss of my mother, the same thing. The same three things that she said about my dad, I applied those same three things to her. And those three things were, again, I'm going to be okay. Two, if she had a choice, she wouldn't have left. And lastly, is we just have to find a new normal, a new way of living without the people who we love so much, right? And so there's some things around my mom. When I came back to Philadelphia, I came here because of her, and now she's not here. And although it's sad that she's not here, it opens up my world for more of this amazing work that I love to do. So it is a true hard gift wrapped in sandpaper. So you just have to find that the path will unfold for you, so you can see exactly what it is. So I want to know what nail you're lying on. You can be the architect of your own life. So what you're going to do is recognize when you're moaning, when you're lying on a nail, refocusing on your original goal, being open to other possibilities, a better way to reach your goal, keeping in view your highest dreams and the ways in which you want to be of service while you're on this earth. When you commit yourself to your highest good, living your purpose, and always moving forward, you're setting yourself up for success no matter what. Now, I'm going to give you one exercise. It won't take long. It's really quick. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of paper, fold it in half, right? And you're going to write on it the nail that you may be lying on. The nail that you might be lying on the top half of the paper. And this is what I wrote on my top half. I'm working on my credit for the 50th, 100th time. I'm not going to keep moaning about it. I'm going to get it done.
Yes.
And so I wrote on here, building credit after bad credit. Not knowing how to fix it at first made it difficult to think about it. So ignoring the issue is not an option. So Lisa says, get a real nail and tape it to the thing. But I didn't have a real nail. So she said, get a small, medium, and large nail. So you take the nail and you put it, it's a big nail, you put a big nail. And as you work on it, you put a smaller nail. And then as you work on it, it's another smaller nail. And then on the second half of the page, you're going to write the things that you need to do. So I wrote 1, review the credit. You can't fix what you can't see. 2, fix the things that are no longer accurate. One of the things that I noticed on my credit is because I moved so much, I got all these different addresses. When you take the addresses off, they tell me that will boost your score. And add any good credit that you have. Like paying your rent on time is a thing that you can add to your credit. And then dispute anything that's not accurate and review it again every few weeks. So that is my answer for the thing that I've been moaning and groaning about. So if there's something, if it's a relationship that you moaning and groaning about, if it's a job, if it's business, you put all of that at the top of the page, stick your nail to the top of it. I just drew a nail, the best way I knew how. And then you just put your answers as how you're going to fix it underneath. So that's your assignment. Find out the nail that you're lying on, assign it a size, small, medium, or large nail, and then write what you're going to do to fix it. Because a lot of times, identification and awareness is the whole thing. We don't want to get stuck in moaning and groaning. We're going to figure out what we need to do to fix it. What's not working? What do I want that will make me feel better about the situation? What baby steps can I take? And what's the benefit for me if I take that step? So that is your take action muscle. Yes, yes, yes. And next week we are going to talk about the I know, like I know, like I know muscle. I love this lady. This lady has truly put things in a way that is easy to follow and, a way for us to just get to the next level. So I hope that was enjoyable and helpful for you. Back to you, Mr. Satchel.
Wow. That was totally. Take action muscle. That's my muscle right there, man. That is my muscle. Get the action taken, God dang. We got to get up this thing going. All right, we can't worry about it.
Nope.
Wow. I'm listening to you, Darlaina. I am so blessed to have you on this awesome call every Wednesday.
Yes.
And it just brings me to a reality where I get to listen and just listen. I don't even want to touch the button to say anything. Because you're just giving out such good information. So for those today, we want to thank you again. And hey, y'all better go take some damn action.
Take some action. At least even if you don't take the action, at least plan the action. At least plan the action.
Amen. Take control. That's some action. Take control over your life. Because if you don't, somebody gonna take some action on that booty.
Yes, for you.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great day on purpose. God bless. See you tomorrow.
All right, bye. Hey, online family, thank you so much for being with me, with my Life-Changing Alliances family. I thank you again for being here, for always being a part of our conversation. You can always reach out if you want to know more about any of the topics that I discussed. So have an amazing rest of your day. Happy hump day. Happy Wednesday. Bye for now.